Welcome to the POMcast with Steve Willis, your independent, unbiased, and unbought source for Ole Miss athletics. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Friday, October 9th, 2020, Alabama week. Kickoff set for 6:30 Saturday night. As you might know, that got moved from 5 o'clock. It was officially done yesterday. Kickoff is at 6:30. LSU has moved off that hard out at 8 o'clock. They're playing at 11. You have that open time, so there was flexibility in the Ole Miss game. They could have moved it all the way to 8 o'clock itself and just moved the SEC night game to ESPN or something. But there was ways they could do it logistically. But 6:30 p.m., Vaught-Hemingway Stadium, Ole Miss versus Alabama. Alabama coming in at a 24-point favorite. So definitely something to pay attention to. We're going to see a wet weather game. We're going to talk today about the hurricane and what that means, obviously, in the A block. And then we're going to move on to what the Baylor system does naturally. In 2017 at FAU with Lane Kiffin, they ran the ball over 70% of the time and developed an excellent jet sweep package. So tune in for that. And then we're probably just going to talk a little bit in the third segment. But thank you for joining us. I am your host, Stephen Willis, the POMcast at the Positively Ole Miss Network. You can tune in to Around the SEC. That's sitting available, that released yesterday to lead into all the games this weekend. But first, let's advertise a little bit for social media, where you can follow us on Twitter at the Stephen Willis. Thank you for those that have, and at Ole Positively. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast or join our Facebook group at Positively Ole Miss. You can subscribe to our YouTube page at Positively Ole Miss. Hit the bell for notifications. You'll know when we go live. And you can join us on Twitch, Positively Ole Miss, all one word. Hit the follow. And you'll get notified as well every time we go live. For those that prefer it to be audio only, we are on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio. I think we're on iHeartRadio, and I think we're on Pandora at this point. So our whole thing is we are where you are already. You don't have to come to a second location with us, and we're never going to extort you for money. All this information is free. It's yours. What's happening is not state secret. You should have it. And anybody that tells you otherwise is mistaken. So, this weekend, Ole Miss versus Alabama, 6:30, Vaught-Hemingway Stadium. We're going to be playing in either a tropical depression or a low pressure front. Winds are varying between 5 and 15 miles an hour based on forecasts. And it's looking to be in the mid 60s, and it's 90 to 100% chance of rain. This is a good one to watch on TV, folks. It really is. Because it's going to be pretty sloppy. It's going to be pretty miserable. And it's one of those games where your money in your wallet is going to be wet. So recognize that. Now, there will be people in the stadium because there's only so many opportunities to go to the stadium, and people, by God, are going to take them. But with no tailgating, with none of the extra stuff that goes along, plus sitting there being miserable for 3.5, 4 hours in the rain, you might want to watch this on television. Just be safe if you go, please. And, get there and come back safely in this kind of weather. It would just, the smart thing to say, I know. But we're looking at, I think Najee Harris is more of a mutter. But I could be mistaken. I haven't actually seen him run on a really soft field. I haven't seen Jerry Neely run on a soft field. This could be a game for Snoop Connor with the way he kind of directly attacks what he's doing. But Alabama is so well drilled at fits, you actually need somebody that's kind of shifty. And I know one thing that we're all dealing with is you can't mistake this Alabama for the Kirby defenses of the early 2000s. Yeah, I mean, you just can't. 2015 to 2007 or whatever, 2008, you can't do that because those defenses were designed to constrict you. And you see right now that defense is over at Georgia. The best defense in the conference resides in Georgia. His team gave up 19 to Missouri and 24 to Texas A&M. They didn't cover against Missouri. They did against A&M. But they beat you with offense now. Now, used to you would get beat by Alabama 31-3, and it would feel like 66-3. That's how the game actually played out. It was so dominant on defense and so methodical on offense. It just felt that way. Now the only way it feels like they beat you 66-3 is if they actually beat you 66-3. They're such an offensive juggernaut, and if they did, everybody be talking after that game about how the defense only gave up 3 points. I mean, that's the world we're living in now with Alabama. They're still good. They're just offensively good. They're no longer defensively good. Well, I mean, great, but you know what I mean. So they're going to be disciplined with their fits. They're going to be disciplined with their coverages. How can we attack that? Because we can't really throw the ball downfield because it's going to be potentially windy or wet. Of course, they can't throw the ball downfield because it's going to be potentially windy and wet. Stick around for the next segment to find out. Positively Ole Miss, POMcast, Stephen Willis.
Only 10% of us get enough daily exercise.
And that number is dropping.
Nearly 30% of us are overweight or obese.
We spend 6 hours a day in front of a screen.
As a result, we now have a shorter life expectancy than our parents.
But give us the right start in sports, and we'll never stop.
Learn how at active4life.ca.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis from Positively Ole Miss. We're almost done with this break. We'll be back with good information quite soon.
The military has been in every generation of my family, and so has VA. It wasn't easy for my dad after Vietnam, but VA helped him and my mom get the home they'd always wanted. My grandpa's been coming to VA since World War II. They even helped him lay to rest one of his battle buddies from Normandy. And me, I followed in their footsteps and served with pride. And now that I'm out of the military, the GI Bill's helping me with school. Every generation of my family has served, and VA has served us all.
All right, POMcast, Stephen Willis coming back to do this. We're going to talk to you in this segment about how Lane Kiffin's offense is going to potentially attack the Alabama defense based on the weather conditions. And we talked yesterday on Around the SEC. Corey Burton talked about a series we did back in March and April at the beginning of this COVID thing, whenever we were trying to do nice things for you, and give you something to watch when everybody was staying at home and all the shutdowns were happening. But it's called Boot Camp the Offense, and it's right below on our YouTube page. Still lives there in the playlist. There's a playlist called Boot Camp the Offense. If you want to look at FAU in 2017, that'll give you an idea of what we're probably going to do in this one. Maybe the 2017 FAU North Texas game. Now, I'm not saying we're going to get 800 yards of total offense against Alabama, but that's a high run fit game. It's probably a 75%, 25% run to pass spread game. And even in that game, they threw for 330 yards, but they ran for nearly 500. So that would be the game for other people to watch, people interested in doing their homework. Because that's at reality what we did. When everybody else was wondering what Ole Miss is going to do, what is this going to look like, we actually started collecting data points from FAU and building up to see. You saw the progression from Daniel Parr all the way to Brian Robeson of the offense at FAU. And even after Kendall Briles left after 2017, who's at Arkansas now, by the way, we'll get to that next week, you have a situation where they still ran the Baylor system, even with Charlie Weiss Jr., because he likes that system so much. He likes the run game mechanics mixed with his pass game concepts. And it's just a nice fit. It's a little bit of a different twist on the spread offense. But one thing with Lane Kiffin, and you saw this start to happen really in 2016 when he was calling plays at Alabama when they had that big comeback victory in Oxford, when Hugh Freeze had a chance to win 3 in a row, is the jet sweep. You've seen that a couple of times in the games, probably 3 or 4 game against Florida and Kentucky. But against Kentucky, you saw the jet sweep paired with the inside zone. So it could be a decoy. And then you give the inside zone. If the linebackers are flowing, they're hyper aggressive, it'll cause a false step and perhaps a misfit in a zone offense that you can run through any hole. So whoever messes up is going to, you're going to get 5 or 6 yards on that run. And that's that basic scheme. Well, there's a third level of that basic run mechanical concept, and that is the jet sweep to inside zone. The third step is the quarterback keeper. You fake to the jet sweep or give it. The linebacker steps. You fake the inside zone. The linebacker freezes. And the other end, outside the backside, the quarterback takes the ball and goes. That is a distinct possibility. I love that play. That is the best triple option really in college football. Now, they were running that realistically in year 3 at FAU, not necessarily in year 1, I think. But it's a great play. It's designed to cause false steps. It's designed to mess with the eyes of the linebackers. And what messing with the eyes of the linebacker, or you hear eye candy, means is really the linebacker got faked out. They're looking at the jet sweep. They're reacting as if they have the ball. But the inside zone has the ball. No, it doesn't. the quarterback has the ball going around the end, around the other side. It's to make the defense a little slower. That's the whole purpose of it. So it's an equalizer play, especially whenever Lane recruits to the level where those players on offense are quite good, quite fast. Now the defense is playing at a disadvantage. That's how you mess with the linebackers. You mess with the safeties by fear of the ball being completed over their head. That prevents them from rushing down to defend the run or a screen pass. That is the element of this game I am most worried about. Because Alabama is going to be drilled for those safeties to fit. And they're going to come down hard. The chance for a play action pass exists. You can make it look like the jet sweep inside zone action and then throw it to, say, Kenny Yeboah at tight end, and the safeties have come forward and he's behind the linebackers. It creates a gap. Lane is an expert at stacking plays. Everything leads to another. Well, no matter what you do, you can't really be right. Now, we're going to play against Alabama, and there's a chance that it's too windy to throw the ball, and they're just too physical up front for us to run the ball. I mean, that's an absolute possibility. But I expect to see a lot of screen passes, a lot of hitches, a lot of things close to the line of scrimmage. Now, Alabama is going to play press. They're from that Bill Belichick school where press coverage and man-to-man with the safety over the top is their chosen way of life. Now, with Matt Corral leading the team in rushing and being over 50 yards back-to-back weeks, that probably eliminates them playing two-man, which is a benefit because nothing can constrict you more than two-man. It is the greatest defense that you can do against a sedentary quarterback. Just you can alternate between zone cover 2 and two-man and go. If you have a sedentary quarterback, doesn't want to move, doesn't want to run. Really, Mac Jones. So Matt Corral rushing for over 50 yards back-to-back weeks, including against the top 5 team, probably has their attention. And they're not going to call as much two-man, which means if they're playing a single high safety, there's more opportunities to win on the outside. There's more opportunities to win in the middle. Because if you go back to that Boot Camp the Offense series, you'll see that they do most of their work between the hashes, whether the tight end or the slot. Those are the two playmakers in this offense. Even when Mingo made a play, it was coming in. It was on a dig. So they kind of like to play between the hatches. They don't really play on the outside, which is something we're unaccustomed to be honest, because under Phil Longo in Chasing Space, everything was done outside the numbers, really, besides AJ. That was his territory. But DK and Lodge all played outside the numbers. Every now and then you'd get a post pattern, but you know how it is. So this game, like, the best players are Alabama's cornerbacks. They want to play man coverage. They probably won't play man coverage to the same effect that they would like to play man coverage because of the weather, because of a running quarterback. You don't want to turn your back to the quarterback that's running the ball. So it's kind of a pick your poison moment with Alabama. Matt Corral could have a complete star turn tomorrow. That is beyond a shadow of a doubt. A complete star turn tomorrow. Like Johnny Manziel in 2012. He could have one of those type games. I'm not calling him to have that type game, but that's on the table. That's the next step for him to move forward. He's been dominant in the pass game. He's been good in the run game. He's not going to run for 100 yards a game because the offense doesn't really allow for that. But you saw against Kentucky during the comeback, we would go 5 wides. We would count the numbers in the box. If it was below a certain level, Matt Corral would just run forward, get 4 or 5 yards. If it was above a certain level to stop that, we'd throw a pass and complete it for 4 or 5 yards. Like I said, this offense is excellent at stacking plays and making it where a defense really can't be right. So I look for the jet sweep package to be utilized a lot. I look for the screen package to be used a lot, both wide receiver and running back. This could be our first running back screen game. I know Lane likes those. And I expect Kenny Yeboah to pop up behind the defense, behind the linebackers at times. All right. We're done with this segment. Stephen Willis, POMcast. Stick around.
You want to answer that, don't you? I bet it's just killing you seeing the soft glow just inches away. Someone wants to tell you something or ask you something. Oh, come on, answer it already! Just so we're clear, that wasn't my fault. Next time, ignore your inner voice. Don't text and drive. A message from Florida's trusted choice independent insurance agents.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis. I just want you to stick around a little longer. We're going to get back to the podcast right after these messages.
Tonight, nearly 40,000 veterans across the country are homeless. These men and women have pledged to serve our nation, and now we must serve them. Landlords across the country have helped make significant progress in reducing veteran homelessness by making housing available, but there is more that we can do to bring our veterans home. Visit www.va.gov/homeless to see how you can get involved. And if you are a veteran and you are experiencing homelessness, please call 877-4AID-VET. Thank you.
All right, POMcast, Stephen Willis, right here on Positively Ole Miss Network. Remember to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast. Each show will show up on there as well. You can get it on YouTube, you can get it on Twitch, you can get it on Twitter. We put the show up everywhere. And you can also, if audio is your thing, it's available on the audio services as well. So pick that up. One of the things I'd like to do just is like, hey, just be patient if video is what you want, because as you can see, we're on a lot of video platforms. Yet, all you see is a slide. We're doing an audio podcast right now. Well, we are probably 6 to 7 months away from going to video. And not just going to video, going to a really high level of video. It's not just going to be me putting my face up and talking into a camera. It's going to be really high level video. Unlike really anything you've seen in Ole Miss athletics. It's going to be completely new. It's exciting. I've got several ideas. I don't want to let them out of the bag yet because we're still 6 months out. But this format and timing that you're seeing now will eventually relinquish to video. And you'll have a morning show. Hopefully you'll have a, noon show. And all of this stuff will be available to you. And I'm really excited about it. There's a method to our madness, so to speak, what we're doing. And we're getting loads of followers now anyway. But once we move to the next step, we're really going to kind of hockey stick the growth curve in this site, and we'll provide a level of access to information to 10, 11, 12-year-olds all the way up to 65, 66 that don't want to pay for the right to get that information. And, well, the next one's going to be a little bit of a surprise. I can't wait. It's going to be fantastic. As you can hear the ads in the middle, that's the reason we put the public service announcements in this podcast, is so we can get used to a format and get used to what a segment looks like with the timing and everything intrinsically done. But it'll be quite good. So stick around for that. If you don't like video, we'll still be available on all the podcatchers for you to listen to. So, or you can close your eyes. I don't know. We can give a refund of $0 if you need that. All right. So, Ole Miss versus Alabama, rain game, Saturday night, 6:30 ESPN. Sean McDonough on the call. I think Sean McDonough. Don't quote me on that one. This game has a chance to be exciting. We've talked a little bit about what Lane Kiffin will probably try to do to the Alabama linebackers and safeties. The pass game could be largely taken away depending on the weather. The pass game could be there. So how you're going to call the game is going to be dependent on the weather. We have a system that can do whatever. Seriously, if you want proof of that, go watch Boot Camp the Offense. We can do whatever. Whatever we're good at, we can do. So, don't fret about a rainstorm or windstorm or whatever, because within our offense, that heavy run package exists. And they will do it in such a way that'll be pretty cool. They're still going to burn it at tempo. The key of this offense is tempo. They're always going to go fast and count on the defense to make mistakes. Now, Alabama's so well regimented, they're going to fit most of the time. But if they don't, it could open up. It could open up really quick. There's a chance we'll gash them a couple of times come Saturday. Now, Jeremy James and Reese McIntyre, they should start to see things that they've seen before. Now, they got to get used to the speed because Alabama's defensive line is going to be really good, but so is Florida's. So they've seen this for, 2 times in a row. And them doing that will help them in the near future. Trust me, they're going to grow. And like I said, treat this season like a 10-game spring practice. The season is all about development. No eligibility is running. There's a chance no coaches are going to get fired unless you're, Jay Hobson at Southern Miss. But just take it one game at a time and celebrate the positives and ignore the negatives and move on, because 2021 is more important than 2020 and 2022 is more important than 2021. All right. Enjoy the game. Stephen Willis, POMcast. Have a good weekend.